Insurance is something that we never really want to use. It's becoming quite sometimes budget breaking, but it's really important, no matter if you own your home or you don't own your home, to have at least two major things. Your coverage for your home and your liability part of it. If you want to self-insure some things, self-insure on the deductible, meaning raise your deductible and pay know that that's what you're out of the pocket for. Don't take off coverages or reduce coverages like liability, where you can reduce it down to $100,000 and have a claim that's $300,000. That's, that you're going to go bankrupt, plus they're going to still come after you. They'll garnish your wages and different things, so don't go without those things because you paid off your house.
So hi, I'm Kevin James Bond of Remax Real Estate Group. This is Bill McIntosh with Complete Protection Insurance, and I wanted to ask him a few questions about just insurance for real estate, specifically residential real estate in Colorado Springs and in Colorado in general. So hi, Bill, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. So yeah, I'll just jump right into it. And tell us a little bit about you and your company and how that operates.
Kathy and I, which is my wife, we've been running this business since 2014. We started independent insurance agency, which what an independent agency is we can shop many different companies. It's not just one company. And so we go out and we look for your homeowners and your auto insurance, and try to find you a competitive quote for your homeowner's insurance. When we first started, we were really focusing on trying to be the lowest cost, but we have moved that to more of a, not because we were like reducing coverages or anything, but we're really focusing on making sure the homeowner is covered for the losses that come their way. And in 10 years or 8 years, we've seen a lot of different things that can go wrong in a home. So we've learned to start insuring for those from the get-go instead of getting caught, behind the eight ball, to say, and really get people covered. So with the multiple different companies that we offer.
Yeah, I think that's great that you can shop around with a few different companies on behalf of your clients. They don't have to do that on their own. They can have you just look for a company that's going to give them a good rate, with a good quality product.
Yeah,
Did you
exactly
what have you noticed in insurance when you guys started versus now? How have things changed in Colorado?
Well, so when I started, I started with farmers, and within the first few months, Black Canyon or Waldo Canyon fire started, and then 1 year later, almost to the day, we had Black Forest fire. We also, in those years, up until about 2018, we've had some huge killer hailstorms here in Colorado Springs. So when I first started in insurance, the average homeowner's insurance probably was running anywhere between $1,100 and $1,300 a year. Now I'm thinking they're pushing more about the $2,000 to $2,100 range when it comes to average. Some people being a lot more expensive depending on where they live in Colorado. Some people are more expensive because of the claims that they've had in the last few years. And so it happens to really, that's the biggest thing, because the insurance really hasn't changed. One thing, the deductible or what have changed the most, going from you could get $1,000 deductible at the beginning when I first started. Now there's a couple of companies that you can still do $1,000, but most of them are at least 2,500. Some moved to 5,000, and some have moved to a percent deductible, meaning the whole dwelling cost of your to rebuild your home. They're going to do a percent of that, which is usually 1% right now. And so, so if you had a $377,000 home, it would cost, the deductible on a loss would be $3,777.
Okay, got it. I think the median price right now for a house in Springs is 420,000. You know how much that would be to, versus a 370K house?
So the dwell or the if it was a 1% deductible, it would be a $4,200 deductible in that situation.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, do you have a favorite horror story to share in the residential market, with a
Yeah,
house?
so you really gotta make sure you have the right insurance on your house. We had a client who when they first came to us, and this was on the they were landlords, and so they were renting out property. When they first came to us, they were doing the lowest cost insurance they could find, and we started talking to them and moving their to better insurance, moving them better insurance. But they had one policy that was still one of those the terrible policy, and we're still working with the insurance company to hopefully cover them. We're trying to use all of our ability to get them to cover something that they don't really necessarily have, but it'll be about a $40,000 loss because they had not the wrong insurance. They just had insurance that they wanted at that time to be low cost, and it's going to cost them. It could cost them quite a bit of money without a claim being filed or being paid out.
Yeah, it just sounds like and that's one of the things I appreciate about you and Kathy is your hand holding and your reminders that, hey, this is a new year. If you made any of these, example changes in your life, this is something that you want to take a look at for, take another look at your insurance and make sure that you're covered. So I have appreciated that you're looking out for your clients and making sure that they have the best coverage and they don't end up in an awful situation later down the road.
One of the things, and that's actually brought something up that is really good. If you make any changes, you start renting out your home, if you get a new dog, if you build a deck onto the back of your house, if you put in a $30,000 bidet into your bathroom, those are type of things that you need to tell your insurance agent. It could increase your insurance, but you definitely want to be covered in case of a total loss on those type of things, or any coverage at all. So make sure you let your insurance agent know, you made some changes, because it could, it could really affect things on your insurance. And so, and things like, I got a new roof or I got solar panels, it doesn't really cost that much, but the coverage needs to be afforded for in case you lose, your $35,000 solar panels you want to a hailstorm. You want to make sure the coverage is there.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you how that works exactly. If somebody's going to get solar panels and they want to make sure that that part's included in their coverage, what do they need to do? They just tell you, does that add on to their total coverage? Is that an additional rider?
Yeah. Yeah. So no additional riders for most companies. They just want, or what the insurance company or what you want as the owner of the home or the $35,000 solar panels is you want to make sure if there was a total loss that is covered. Most likely, if there's a hailstorm, it's going to be covered because you're not going to hit your total dwelling amount on a hailstorm. But if there's a fire and everything, burned down, you'd want that coverage. And so that's where it changes the price. We see that, it might add $100 a year, maybe not even that much to add that to your whole insurance package, that cost to those, not so much the solar panels, but the cost. And then and so it doesn't change much, but it does afford you the 35 extra $1,000 it would cost in case of a total loss.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. What should a homeowner look for in a property insurance policy in Colorado Springs? Are there some bullet points, some minimums, some requirements, things to pay attention to beyond, a different state?
Yeah. So I mean, almost all your carriers are going to have hail care coverage, wind and hail. Just make sure you're properly covered for that, meaning that you can afford whatever that deductible is. And so, again, most of the time it's going to be about $2,500 at least on there. Just make sure you have that, because we haven't had a huge storm in approximately 5 years, but it's going to happen. We're a state that gets a lot of hail, especially the Front Range of Colorado. And so you want to
Hmm.
make sure you have the money set aside. So when you do have a hailstorm, you don't have to worry about that, where that deductibles come from. Another thing that we see is sewer and drain backup coverage. A lot of people, because it's an extra $100, if somebody's trying to win um, an insurance bid, they'll leave things like that off. And we find that it's one of our uh, most common claims that happen. And so you'll want to have that on your policy. And as we've been talking to people who come in there after sewer and drain to clean it up and take the drywall off, take the carpet out, it's about an average of $25,000. Of course, it could go a lot higher than that, and we've seen a few 5 or 6,000. But the $25,000 worth of coverage is going to cost you around $125 to $175 a year extra. So it's definitely worth that coverage, because you don't want to have to clean your any poo out of your basement if
No.
it's in there. You have someone else do it.
That reminds me of when people are buying condos or townhomes here, the special assessment is another one that gets talked about, or some people don't know about that. So, what does that look like from an insurance standpoint to just make sure that people have that extra coverage?
Yeah, I don't understand if you'd buy a condo, or who sells insurance that would leave that $16 a year coverage off of $50,000 worth of coverage. And it's really inexpensive. But what special assessment is if a big hailstorm comes through, a lot of condos have like a 5,000 or 5% wind and hail deductible. So that 5% of the whole condo unit could be 80, 90, $200,000, depending on how big of a unit or units they are. And so they take that and they give that back to the owners as a cost. And insurance companies have a product called assessment coverage, and for $50,000, which would probably, I mean, that would be huge to get to that high, but it's only like $16 a year. So, and if you for 16 have it on there, I don't see any insurance companies saying we won't. You can't put that on there, but that will even cover if you guys have a swimming pool in your HOA and somebody gets in there and drowns. That's a huge claim, and they can special assess that to the condo owners.
Oh,
And
wow.
so make sure you have as much of it as you that the company allow, which is usually right around 50. Sometimes they go up to 75,000. But make sure you just have it, and it doesn't cost hardly anything to have that.
Has that ever happened here
With
where
the
somebody died in the pool?
not one of my clients, but it's happened before. I don't know here in Colorado, but I mean,
Wow.
it's as simple as mom goes like, "Oh, my kids are here, and I'm gonna go grab their lunch out of the unit," and then she files a big claim because something happened while she was gone. But that's really
So the
what happened.
special assessment would cover that kind of a situation. It would
Yeah.
cover the roof. It just covers any miscellaneous expense that the HOA wants to put on the homeowners. Is
Yep.
that correct?
That's pretty much, it covers a whole lot of different things. Some, make sure, you talk to them what it covers. Some won't cover a deductible like the high wind and hail deductibles, but most carriers do. I've just had I know we had a customer with Allstate, and it didn't their particular coverage they had didn't cover it, and so she was out like $8,000
Oh, wow.
after a hailstorm. So,
Yes,
and we sell
something to make
Allstate,
sure you know.
uh, and it does cover it. So I don't know what she had with them directly.
Oh,
So I don't know.
maybe she just was another
Yeah.
person that got the cheapest stuff, or someone didn't give her the right information to make sure she's fully covered. But
Yeah.
that'd be my assumption.
Yeah. I don't. Could be. I don't know.
Is there any other differences in insurance between condos and townhouses and single family homes?
Yeah, so condos and townhomes, most of the time, the association covers the outside of the home, up till the studs, and so the coverage, your dwelling coverage, doesn't have to be to rebuild the whole place. It just has to be to rebuild what's inside, place everything, and so but you're thinking about walls, toilets, not furnishing, uh, cabinets, all that type of thing. That's what you need coverage for. And so sometimes we see condos, people come in and they have more of a renter's policy where it doesn't
Mm.
cover but $10,000 or $12,000 of the dwelling. And if you think about that, $10,000 or $12,000 doesn't go very far in rebuilding. I mean, a bathroom remodel, can cost you 25 grand. It's not always that high, maybe 8, 9 grand, but it just
No,
depends
yeah,
on what kind of
I
finishing.
got
If
quoted
you have a
10 grand
condo
last
that's
year for a bathroom
uh
remodel. Yeah.
uh you know on a shady part of town or whatever, exactly. Yep. So it's expensive, and you want that coverage. Those policies for like a condo, probably the average is between $800 and $1,200, where a homeowner's, again, I already talked about that, but it's probably double that for homeowners because it's covering the whole house. So
Hmm. Yeah, it does sound like the condo insurance is pretty much just a renter's insurance policy, maybe with a couple more things added on.
yeah, basically, yeah. The dwelling, again, we cover a lot more dwelling plus that special assessment. So where a renter's
Okay.
policy wouldn't have the special assessment.
Yeah. All right. What about investment properties? If somebody's buying some additional properties, are there any additional things that they need to have on their insurance?
Liability is your landlord policy. It's one of the least expensive coverages, and it's going to cover you for those unknowns. Make sure you have a either special dwelling or DP3, which is just that's an insurance term, but you can do DP1 that won't cover water damage or anything, and DP3 usually covers all those different things. So just make sure you
What does the DB
talk
stand for?
dwelling protection. I hope
Okay.
that's right. I think that's right. Right, Kathy? Dwelling protection. Yes. Woo. I just forgot, but yeah, that's what it was. So.
All right, cool. Well, is there anything that you want to address that, like a common question you get from people looking to get insurance?
Yeah. So insurance, is something that we never really want to use, and insurance is it's becoming quite sometimes budget breaking, but it's really important, no matter if you own your home or you don't own your home, to have at least two major things. Your coverage for your home, and your liability part of it. If you want to self-insure some things. Self-insure on the deductible, meaning raise your deductible and pay the, know that that's what you're out of the pocket for. Don't take off coverages like, or reduce coverages like liability, where you can reduce it down to $100,000 and have a claim that's $300,000. That's, that you're going to go bankrupt. Plus they're going to still come after you, for your, they'll come after you. They'll garnish your wages and different things, so don't go without those things because you paid off your house or whatever. Just raise your deductible so you know what your losses are, so if I had a $10,000 deductible, I know that I'm going to pay the $10,000. Where if you have if you reduce coverages or take them away or take your insurance out of the picture, you don't know what your losses are going to be on there. And so we always suggest making sure you know what your cost of doing insurance is, whether that's your deductible, whether it's like sewer and drain backup coverage, $25,000, knowing I'm covered up until that 25,000, but what if it's bigger? Knowing those things will help you expand your territory. Meaning if you're buying landlord properties, you don't want a big claim that's going to cost you $40,000, because then you can't buy another property until you make that back, and so just know that even though there's probably something cheaper out there, it's probably not always the best to go about getting it that way. So
that's great advice. You need to make sure that you are covered, because if you don't and you get into that awful situation, you're not going to like it.
no,
And this
not at
is
all.
the call it the necessary evil or the unfortunate necessity, but insurance really keeps you sane. You don't have to worry. You have peace of mind.
Peace of
You
mind.
don't have to worry about it.
That's really what insurance is doing, is that peace of mind, so and I talk, whether it's the little stuff or the big stuff. I'm just thinking like towing, and roadside service on your auto insurance. It might cost you like $20 a year or $6 a year or $7 a year, but and you might only be covering a tow, which would be $80. It's not very much to cover that. You might as well cover it just for your peace of mind, because when your wife's on the side of the road and if she needs a tow or a tire changed out, you don't want her sitting out there trying to do it herself. You want somebody there that can do it and pull a big truck with a bunch of lights behind her and get it done themselves. And so that's what the peace of mind can do for you. Even though it's not covering a whole lot, it's still there, so that somebody's there to help. So.
Right. Yep. Don't step over dollars to pick up dimes.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Well, do you have a favorite saved by the insurance story that you'd like to share with us?
So one of our customers, they came to us, and we're big about water backup. Let me tell you, when my parents first moved to Colorado Springs, I was living in Oklahoma, and I came to help them move in. And so we helped them move in. They purchased their house. We helped them move in. We put all of we took showers, put all of our clothes in the washer, and went to dinner. And we got back, and there was sewage about this high up their wall in their basement on the first day of moving in, and they had no coverage for it. So we talked to everybody about sewer and drain backup coverage, or we just added on. We don't even talk to them about it. And there was one customer that was trying to talk their way out of it, and we're like, we're not doing it. It's not worth it for you. And they moved in, and in 2 days they had a sewer and drain backup coverage, and he was pretty happy that we had added that to the policy. So he would have been out quite a bit of money, and plus he would have probably been having to clean the turds out himself. So
oh my, yeah. I have heard so many stories like that where somebody goes on vacation and it's like either the night they left, or it's like right in the middle of it, where it's always a plumbing issue and it just floods the basement, and they have a neighbor that tells them about it. But in those instances, absolutely, you got to have all the if
It,
you're going out like that, you need to have that coverage
yep,
because
exactly.
that's a nasty situation to find yourself in. Where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you for home insurance needs? Or
Yeah, so
you also do ATV insurance, right? I think Kathy was talking about
yep.
that.
So home, auto, toys, and umbrella, which is that goes over all those. Umbrella is a liability product. So if you want to get a hold of us, you can call us at 719-930-7855. You can go to our website at www.completeprotectioninsurance.com. That's www.completeprotectioninsurance.com. Or you can go to our Facebook page at Bill's. So if you go facebook.com/Bill's My Agent, that will bring up our Facebook page. And so you can text us, email us. We'll answer your questions whatever way you want us to. And so, or private message us.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom with us, Bill. Is there any parting info that you want to leave
Yeah, just get out
people
there and
looking
sell
to?
more homes. Get out there and sell more homes, sir, because we need this real estate market to be pushed to the positive direction for us. Okay.
I'll do what I can for you. And
All right.
you
I
you
appreciate
guys
it.
have a
Thank
great
you.
product, and I appreciate it. I appreciate what you do. So thank you so much for
All
coming
right.
on.
Thank you. You have a great day.
You too, Bill. Bye.
Bye.
I hope you found this interview helpful. If you did, please click the like button and click the subscribe and the bell if you would like to stay in touch about Colorado Springs and real estate news regarding the Colorado Springs area. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.